Shalom and welcome to our 21st annual Feast of Weeks. This is part 21 of Preparing for Rulership.
You want to be healed? This is a healing class. You can't be healed without knowledge of the healer. Or if you are healed without knowledge of the healer, you can't give proper credit where it's due. You cannot worship the healer if he's unknown to you. You cannot revere the healer unless he's known to you. In order to hold the healer in awe, you must know the healer, know of the healer. So a part of being healed is to come into the knowledge of this name. See, knowledge of the name gives control. Without the knowledge of the name, Yahweh, you're out of control. And that makes you sick. That makes you full of disease. You're full of disease. You suffer disease. And if you study in the Bible Interpreter's Dictionary, healing, you will discover that I am compelled to heal your body, but not your body alone. I must first heal your mind, and then I must heal your spirit. And the natural consequence will then be your body. But it starts first with your mind, then your spirit, and the body will follow automatically. And unless you are willing to submit to me, you will remain out of control. And the only way you can submit to my will is to know of me. You won't have any idea of what will is unless you study and learn of my name, Yahweh. You're out of control. Out of control means you'll do everything that makes you sick. You'll keep doing it. So you first must discover, why am I diseased? Why am I sick? Why? What's the cause? We must first deal with the cause. Disease means asunder. It means to be separated and away from what is whole and complete. To be disconnected from ease. And when you see the so-called black men of America walking around in the same neighborhood but don't love each other, it's obvious they're sick. They're ill at ease. They're ill toward ease. That's what ill at ease means. They are ill toward ease. Ease is peace and joy, tranquility and whole and complete, and love and unity at oneness with Yahweh. In unity, love, harmony. So when you see the so-called black people of America separating one from the other and hating each other and jealous of one another, then you suffer from a sickness. You're suffering from a disease. And before you can come together and work in unity as a people or solve your sick problem, you must be healed. And in order to be healed, you have to pay a price. And the price is not money. The price is obedience to the name and the bearer of the name. To submit yourself to be under the control of the name Yahweh. I repeat, knowledge of the name Yahweh gives control. Gives who control? You. Who's the controller? Yahweh. So knowledge of the name Yahweh gives Yahweh control over you. Well, why would you want Yahweh to have control over you? Because he has all power. He has power to heal you. So if you want to be healed, then you must allow yourself to be under the control of the one who has the power to heal you. Well, that's simple, isn't it? I mean, but we've never been taught this thing. Yahweh is our maker. We are his product. When a manufacturer makes a product and you don't know how to use it, they send out a manual and a book that instructs you on how to use the product. And without the book, you'll misuse the product. You may not get any service out of it at all from the lack of knowledge of how it's supposed to work. So every manufacturer sends instructions on how to use his product and how to preserve that product, how to make best use of it. Every manufacturer of all products do that. They do that. Now, the animals of the earth don't need a book of instruction because Yahweh gave it to them through instinct. So they don't need anybody to teach them how to do what they're supposed to do. They're born knowing that. You can take a bird that never saw another bird make his mama make a nest and breed them 6 to 10 generations down the road, and they never saw a nest made, and at the end, if you put some straw in, at the end of 10 generations and never saw it, they'll build a nest just like their grandparents did. Exactly. Because see, Yahweh programmed that into them, and that's called instinct. But the human being is without instinct and is born without knowledge. So the human doesn't know how to handle itself. It's a product that needs instruction. So Yahweh gave us an instruction book of how to use the product. And it's called the Law, Statutes, Judgments, and Commandments that he gave us on how to protect our product, his product. How to get the best use out of ourselves. How to live healthy, how to live long, how to prosper, how to be successful, how to be at peace, happy, harmony, joyful. All that is in the instruction book that comes ready-made for the product. That's us. We the product. Now, the test is those who don't go by the book of instruction for the product suffer everything that the book says you will suffer if you don't go by the instructions. And those of us that go by the instructions for the product our lives in Yahweh, we reap all the benefits that this book says we would reap. Now, the world doesn't have to be jealous. All they have to do is submit to the manual. The manifested manual. That's me. I'm the manifested manual. I'm the manifested book. You didn't know how to find it in the book, but I'm here to show you how to find what you need in the book, because I'm the book. I'm the word, so I'm here to show you the word and how to live. For man cannot live by bread alone. You must live by every word that proceeds to come out of my mouth. Because I made the product and you my product. So I'm here to show you how to get the best out of it. Now when you try me, you'll find out, boy, that's right. When something goes wrong with a manufactured product, you say, this thing stopped working, so then you go get the book. And it tells you troubleshoot. Say, check it out. check the product out, say, look, you go to page 26 and you trace these wires down and see if you find something wrong there. You don't find that, then trace this down. You can find it. Pretty soon you say, that's the problem right there. So then you follow the instructions of the book for correcting the situation. It may need a new switch. You say, the way it acts like that, it needs a switch. And then you put that switch, the book shows where the switch, you put it in like the book say, and boom, your product is working again. So now you're sick and diseased, so your body and your mind and your spirit is not working proper. So you come to the troubleshooter, the fixer, the repairer. I say, I'm the repairer. Called healer. Oh, hallelujah, Yahweh. Let's turn to Job chapter 9. Read verse 2.
I know it is so of a truth. But how should man be just with Yahweh?
How can man be just with Yahweh? Read.
If he will contend with him, he cannot answer him one of 1,000.
He cannot answer one question that could be asked out of 1,000. How can a man argue with Yahweh when he cannot answer one question out of 1,000 that could be asked by Yahweh? I can ask one who would argue with me 1,000 questions and they cannot answer one. Verse 4, read.
He is wise in heart.
Who is? Yahweh is wise in mind. Read.
And mighty in strength. Who hath hardened himself against him, and hath prospered?
Question. Do you know anybody that is against Yahweh that prospers? All of my people who are against me, where's their prosperity? Here's the scripture saying, go find one. Go find one that hardens himself against Yahweh and prospers. Verse 5, read.
Which removeth the mountains, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger.
Now look at what Yahweh does. He gets a little angry and he just turn a mountain upside down. You have trouble lifting a rock up. Not to think about a mountain. And yet Yahweh just overturned a whole mountain. He can get angry and display his power and just overturn a whole mountain. I don't think you want to be standing around that mountain when he overturns it. I don't care how angry you get, you can't overturn a mountain.
Please turn to side 2.
Verse 6, read.
Which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble.
You cannot see the pillars of the earth. In fact, I think Yahweh asked the Gentiles and other nations, if you can find the pillars, I won't be the God of Israel anymore. Yet he says he can make the pillars tremble. The pillars of earth tremble, shake. Then the earth weighs 6 sextillion tons. And Yahweh is able to shake the earth out of her orbit. make her change orbits around the sun. I don't like you going in this circle. I'm going to move you a little further out or a little further in. That's my choice. I do it as will. I'm talking about the name Yahweh. I'm talking about the power of the name Yahweh. Shake the earth out of its place. Now, any man that can do that, I want to be under his control. And I want him to like me a lot. Glory to Yahweh. What a man. Surely a man that can shake the earth out of her place ought to know the keys to what will heal me. Verse 7 reads,
which commandeth the sun, and it riseth not, and sealeth up the stars.
Here's a man with the name Yahweh. So powerful that if you're righteous and holy enough, you can be like Joshua or Yahshua and call on his name. Just call on his name and command the sun to be still and don't set. And he obeyed. Where is that?
Joshua chapter 10, verses 12 and 13. Then spake Joshua to the Lord Yahweh in the day when the Lord Yahweh delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Yesher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hastened not to go down about a whole day.
Read.
And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of a man. For the Lord Yahweh fought for Israel.
The name, see, he knew his name. Yahweh listened to the voice and obeyed the voice of a man that called on his name without doubt. What a name. What a power Yahweh has that can stop the sun from going down. Now back to Job 9, you see that not only can Yahweh stop the sun from going down, he can stop it from coming up. Now I'm a product of that man. So I know he can fix anything wrong with me. And if he doesn't fix it, then he don't want to fix it. I'm happy with however he wants to do it. Hallelujah, Yahweh. What a man. Am I reaching anybody? A man that can cause the sun not to go down and cause the sun not to rise can surely heal you if you be under his control. Now, he can. Don't tell me he cannot. I'm here to declare he can. Now, as to whether you believe that or not, you have to come to that point of faith. As to whether you put all your trust in him or you put all your trust in somebody else. Now, Yahweh will show you that if you put your trust in somebody else, things won't go too cool. But you have a good satisfaction when you put all your trust in him. that whatever way it goes is his will, because he can make the sun not come up, and he can make the sun not go down, and he can seal the stars up, cause the earth to tremble, mountains to shake, overturn the mountains, shake the earth out of her place, change her orbit. What a man that is. Talking about Yahweh now. All right, Job chapter 9, verse 8. Read.
Which alone spreadeth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea.
Now, all by himself. He spread it out to heaven. All the heavens that there are, Yahweh spread them out. All alone. No helper for the man. He's so powerful that his enemies and the Gentiles, they creating rockets trying to get out there, and in the process of trying to get out there, he just keeps blowing them to hell. And with last one, they thought they had waited long enough. I told you they weren't going to wait long enough. When the rocket went in the cloud, y'all was sitting out there waiting on him. He turned to loose 4 lightning bolts and disintegrated that boy. He disintegrated that bad boy. They thought the shuttle which killed the astronauts, those 7 astronauts, was just a coincidence. He'd been blowing everything up ever since. They had thought they got everything straight and spent billions of dollars on the latest technology and satellites to get their military all going. And they got out there, Yahweh said, and that was it. He didn't miss. What did Yahweh use? Light. Yahweh destroyed those things with light. Yes, he did. Now, don't you go get struck by lightning and try to collect insurance. They'll tell you we pay for everything but the acts of God. Read your insurance policy. Don't tell me those devils don't know who God is. They declare all things like floods and earthquakes and lightning and tornadoes, that those are acts of God. And if your property or you are destroyed by those things, then they're not paying off, because see, God did it. Well, lightning blew those things up, the shuttle was blown out the sky. Then who did it? What's his name? Give him credit.
This concludes Part 21 of Preparing for Rulership.